Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to be setting up our dungeon. Now I did a lot of this off camera, but it's stuff that I've done before that you've kind of already able to refer to. So I have a little 5-room dungeon here that we're going to be making a transition from our scene into. So let's dive right in. Okay, so this is going to be a relatively quick video. We're just going to be looking at setting up our dungeon scene so that we can transfer between where we currently are and into the dungeon. So to do that, I'm going to switch over to my scene view here. And when I made this, I have my, where is it? My grid. And on my collision layer, I put this door. I want to remove this from the collision layer. So I'm going to grab my tile palette, pull it down here, and I don't need it that big. I'm going to go to the eraser tool, and, oops, oh, because I'm on the ground, good lord. Let's undo that. Let's make sure that the active tile map is collision, just because we have it selected over there. It doesn't make it the active one. And I'm just going to erase that, and instead, I'm going to make a new version of the door object, and then the door that we use to go to the house. And then with that, I'm going to transition into a dungeon scene. So I'm going to go to my prefabs, and I'm going to make a new version of my scene transition here. Just going to pull this in, and let's see. Yep. Now I'm going to put that little door on my ground layer. So I'm going to go to my ground, and I've got this little door right here. Brush. There we go. Okay. So now what I need to do is I'm going to save this, because I don't want it to take me to the inside of the house. So my scene to load shouldn't be the sample scene. I'm also going to rename this object in the world. I'm going to call this dungeon transition. Alright, so I'm going to save my scene, and I've already created another scene here that I call dungeon. And my dungeon layout is something that just kind of made something relatively quick here. So the way that this is set up is I've got a grid. I have a ground layer and a collision layer, just like we do with the main scene. And I have 5 rooms here. I have a first room, and I'm going to actually be changing this right now. I have a first room, and then I have a room that's going to be one of the kill all enemies door. So it's going to have a door. When you enter the room, doors are going to shut behind you, and you need to kill all enemies to open them. It's another kill all enemies door. This one is going to be a locked door that you need a key for. And then this was a room that I was planning on having like a boss battle in. So I was going to have like a key here, and then you need to take that key in here and then use it on that door. Now this tile set, and we already talked about this a little bit, but it doesn't have a door sprite, or if it does, I couldn't find it. I didn't see one in here. We have these kind of, oh, forget about that. We have like this kind of grand castle door, and we have these doors, but I don't know that they really fit very well with the scene. Let's actually try that. So on my collision layer here, I'm just gonna go over to my eraser. I'm making sure that collision is selected. I'm going to erase these from it. And then I'm going to swap over to ground. And no, this is going to need to be on, yeah. So these are too high. So if I were to do it on ground, yeah, it would need to be, it almost matches. Okay, well I made a door sprite anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. Oh wow, I plopped one of those down. Okay, cool. So I think that's all I need to do with my tile palette for now. What I want to do next is I'm going to start creating a door object. So I've created some art that you guys can use for your door object. I'm just going to go to my art folder here, and let's go to where I saved my door object. I'm going to include this in the description so you can grab yourself. Here it is. It's nothing fancy. It's just a little 16 by 16 door. It's going to stand out because my color palette is super different. Mine's more tending towards the oranges, whereas these are tending towards the yellows, but it'll be okay for our purposes. So I'm going to pull this into my scene, highlight it. I'm going to put it at 16 pixels per unit. I'm going to go no filter. We're going to go no compression, and the max size 32. And then we'll apply that. I'm also going to add this to my tile map for the ground. So I'm just going to pull it right in over here. And it's going to ask me where to save this. I have a tile palette folder already. So there we go. There's my door ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on my ground object, I'm just going to grab the door. Yeah, that really sticks out. That'll be okay though. So, oh good lord. There we go. Alright, that really sticks out, but I'm going to have this be the door that the key to the chest, or the key that's in the chest that I made is going to open. So what I want to do here is I'm going to create an empty game object, and I'm going to call this locked door. Well, actually, yeah, I changed my mind about how I want to do this. I'm going to take this off of my tile palette, and of course I clicked somewhere on the scene already. I'm going to take that off of my tile palette, and then I'm going to find my dungeon palette, and I'm going to change this back to just the regular old ground right here. Of course you deleted that. It's okay. So for my locked door object, I'm going to add a few things. So first, I'm going to add a sprite renderer so that I can have a sprite for it. And my sprite is going to be my door sprite. And I'm going to move it to where I want it to be. Right there. The reason I'm doing this is this way I can have two different sprites when we code our door, which we'll do next time. I can have a sprite for when it's locked or shut, and then I can have another sprite for when it's open. Alright, so there we go. I also want to add a box collider 2D, and this is going to be for physics so that the player is going to interact with it. Let's make this position better. Make that 0.5 on X and 4.5 on Y. And of course, we put it 0 on Z, which makes it fall away. So we need to change the sorting layer. I'm going to put it on the signs layer so that it appears below the player. And I'm going to do this slightly differently than I did this sign. I wasn't super happy with on the sign how I have those two box colliders on the same layer of the object. So like, let me look at the prefab so I can describe it. So I wasn't really happy on the sign how we have this box collider 2D and then another box collider 2D that's a trigger. So I'm going to experiment here a little bit, and you guys get to participate in that. So this is going to be the locked door. This is going to represent the physical presence of the locked door. So it has the sprite renderer and it has the box collider. I'm going to create a sub object here, and I'm going to drag this onto it, and this is going to be the trigger area. And to here I'm going to add a box collider 2D. This one's going to be a trigger. I'm going to edit it. I'm also going to zero its transform out, so it's not in that weird spot. And then this one's just going to go a little bit forward, just like that, just so that we can detect when our player's in it. Alright, cool. So here's the beginnings of my door object. Alright, so next time we're going to actually code this door, but for now you can have yourself some fun designing a dungeon. Don't go too huge. I thought 5 rooms was plenty, especially if you're new to something like this. Don't try to like recreate one of the temples from A Link to the Past. Instead, focus more on like the first Zelda game, something nice and small that's manageable, so that we're not biting off more than we can chew. And yeah, stay tuned for a quick message after this, and we will see you soon. I hope everybody out there has themselves a great day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.